Oh, it hasn't even kicked in for me yet. Okay, Carlatin says all resolutions, hooray. Excellent. Excellent. Good. We should be good now. What? No. Why am I opening Vegas? No, 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 no. I clicked the wrong thing. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's because I had forgotten to turn my VPN off again. Alrighty, smoke time. Then let's head into the kitchen. So we have a nice big roast beef that we're going to be chopping up and cutting up into strips that we're then going to fry up in teriyaki sauce. We'll have some nice teriyaki beef strips. And then I've got a couple things of frozen vegetables specifically for stir fries. It's got some peppers and onions and mushrooms and other stuff in there. I can't remember, but it's a bunch of stuff. Um, and then I thought I'd cut up a fresh onion, and just to have some fresh onion in there, and then some. I got some mushrooms left over from the pizza, so I thought we'd throw those in there. So we'd have a mix of fresh and frozen veggies, basically, and then fry that up with some olive oil and more teriyaki sauce. Then put everything in together and mix it all up so you have the teriyaki beef and the teriyaki veggies and everything all together. And meanwhile, make a big thing of just plain white rice. So essentially, we put the stir fry on a bed of white rice, and that's some good eating. Well, it's just, I love how most of the round I was just basically wandering around confused. That's okay. You got to enjoy some of the sights. We saw quite a few of the sights, actually. We got around the island quite a bit. You got to try out the web shooters, which I know is something you were probably really wanting to do. So there you go. I'm sure you found the web shooters at least fairly intuitive as far as how they work. It's pretty good. Um, got a feel for some of the weapons. I think you got a few kills. You killed some chickens. So yeah, I'd say you had a pretty good first few rounds there. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. I tried to look out for you and JL. Just make sure you make sure you're drinking your shields and stuff like that. I'm like the protective father watching over his children. Yes. It's like, make sure you take your vitamins and eat all of your meat. How can you expect to get any pudding if you don't eat your meat? All right, I'll be back. Yeah, feeling the gummies a little bit, not as much as I usually do. I think we'll have another couple with the stir fry. That'll go really well. Anyway, I'll be back. going to take a fair amount of prep, so let's get to it. Gotta love the wall. Flink Poid. The band's really great, that's what I think. By the way, which one's pink? What was it we were gonna do here? We were gonna do some stuff and some things and whatnot, and who's it's and what's it's. Just quickly checking the socials. Checking the socials real quick. The socials. I should be getting my Twitch payout for last month soon. It'll be a nice boost. While we're waiting for donos to start rolling in again. Do 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 do. And hello to the other Michael who just messaged me on Facebook. You know who you are. Yeah, if you want to chat in the chat, you need to do the verification thing, basically, or subscribe. That's the other way you can get around that, but entirely up to you. Hey, Pam is back. Game is gone. We're about to adjourn to the kitchen for some cooking. Making a big one tonight. Big one. Let me get the phone over there first this time, and then I'll bring you guys over. What's going on here? Well, that's great, but I can't do anything yet. I decided to give Bumble a try on Timbit Kid's high recommendation the other day. So, yeah, it's great. I'm getting lots of people swiping on me, but I can't see who they are or talk to them because I have I just have the free account. So I figured when maybe the bills are a little more under control, I just got like 1 month just to try it out, and we'll see. Meanwhile, let's get you guys to where the action is, shall we? 3:30 a.m. What? That's madness. You're making that up. There's no such time zone. It's only 11:30. What do you mean? Am I corrupting you, Pam? Am I turning you into a vampire like me? Excellent. Let's spend eternity together, feasting upon the cattle of the masses to prolong our own life. Yeah, that should be fine. Alright. Hold on a second. Just have to get it in the hole. Give it a little twist. Ow. That might not be so fun. Don't twist it. Hi. Where do I need to take you guys? So let's bring you over here somewhere, somehow, I guess. So just gotta get over the cord and around and whee! Hope you all don't have motion sickness. If not, well, Gravol exists, so figure it out. There we go. That looks pretty good. Oh shit. Oh yeah, daylight saving starts tonight, doesn't it? For fuck's sake. Ooh, hello. Yeah, I can't see anything. And the problem is with Bumble, you only have 24 hours. So then the alerts go away. So it's very time sensitive. One thing I thought was cool though that they have that Tinder doesn't is a lifetime membership that you can subscribe to. So it's like $200, but it's good forever. You never have to renew ever again. So you can just use it forever. So I figured I'd try the month, right? See how it goes, see what kind of responses I get, and if it seems promising, maybe just spring for the lifetime one, and then that can just be the one that I use, you know? So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not in any big rush for anything too serious, but it would be nice to have some female company once in a while, you know what I'm saying? Those long, lonely nights. Come on. There we go. Okay, I'll be right back. Well, that's the thing though, Carlin. It's actually not that unreasonable compared to what other apps cost or other sites. A lot of them, it's like $200 for a year. You know, you get a year membership for $200 ish. But this is a one-time thing, and that's it. So I don't know. Seems like a better deal to me. It's all a matter of is it worth it? So I did take a swipe around, and there's definitely more locals on that than there were on the dating sites I was on. So it's clearly all about the apps these days. So I don't know. I'm just an old man stumbling around trying to figure out how shit works in the 21st century. You know. So I guess we'll empty the dishwasher first. And then load it up again so we have a little more counter space. You can admire my muscular buttocks while I do this. Well, about muscular. There's muscles in there somewhere. Put it in the wrong way. I put it in the wrong way. It's not a USB connector. You put it in the wrong way. It's not a USB connector. That's what she said. Yeah. Rosie uses these little plastic things for, or little plastic bowls for dip when she has like chicken nuggets and stuff. Good idea. And I just put them in the dish rack in the dishwasher, and it just blasts it clean. It's good. Got a few of these containers to clean. All leftovers past a few days. And there we go. Okay. Empty. You are not old. Ah, bless your little heart, Pam. Oh, it's the kind of encouragement I need. I sure feel old sometimes. It's like life is passing me by and I'm not where I want to be. I think they call that a midlife crisis. I've been having my midlife crisis since I turned 30. I just accepted it as a part of who I am now. Constantly in a constant state of panic. Gotta make another batch of Alfredo soon, too. Wouldn't that be ambitious if we did both of those things today? Probably not gonna happen. What else? No. That one in there. Plates and bowls. Keep this one. Actually, I'm gonna keep this one out. We'll use that. Let's go to the wash. What that was. What was that? A little bit of food. Just wasn't sure what it was. Well, poop, says Galatin. What? What happened? What happened? Gotta clean the pans too. What else is new, right? Do the rice in this big pot here. Oh, hold on, I got a story. I'm not concretely sure. However, since I had it before, I seem to have acute gastroenteritis. I've been noticing no matter what I'm eating the last 2 to 3 weeks, I'm making my stomach sour, bloating with indigested gas. No amount of Pepto or Tums is making it go away entirely. Oh, that's not good. That sounds frustrating and annoying. Maybe your appendix is going to explode. That can be a sign, actually. You have any pain in your lower right? Like lower right abdomen? The appendix is actually part of the digestive system. Did you know that? A lot of people don't know what it's for. But what the appendix does, it's not useless, as is commonly believed. It does serve a purpose. Is it stores sample bacteria from your stomach, like enzymes and stuff, to digest different types of food. So if anything becomes wrong with the ones in your stomach, it can use the example that it has to create a new one to replace the damaged one. So I guess if you had your appendix out, your body would be lacking that function. So if something went wrong with the enzymes in your stomach, you'd have to find some other way to fix it. Nope, trust me, I know it was that. Okay, fair enough. Well, good. I'm glad, because that's no fun. And honestly, ideally, you want to have your appendix, because it does actually serve a purpose. It can help prevent other problems down the line, especially as you get older. Yeah. I just fried up the last couple of small steaks last night. I just had the munchies in the middle of the night, so it's good. I was thinking about what Goth Gash was saying yesterday, just about sort of setting a specific window during the day where you eat, and just make sure you get all your caloric intake within that window, and then try to cut out snacking and whatnot outside of that window. And then, of course, as we've been talking about, drink shit tons of water. By the way, I was kind of half keeping track the other day, and I think I actually do drink about eight of those pints every day. Sometimes more. I actually drink a ridiculous amount of water in a day. So I like to keep the insides moist. There we go. And we'll do the other one that says it's there. So yeah, I basically just made steak and hash browns last night. The two that were left were really small. They were like snack size steaks for me. That's fine. You know what else? I had something else. Oh, it was some of the pizza. That's what it was. It was like I had one piece of pizza. I made sure to leave a couple slices for Rose in the morning, and the last piece of the garlic cheese bread. She really likes that. So it was the least I could do. Feed my child, But this stir fry should give us a fair amount of leftovers, so that'll be good. So what I'll do is, so it's basically the stir fry on a bed of rice. So when I portion off the leftovers, I'll put in, a bed of rice and then some stir fry on top. We'll just try to keep it all as even as possible. Get a few portions out of it. Should be good. So this is kind of a meal prep thing, but also my dinner. Alright, put this away. reflux. Oh God, yeah. Oh, Palm, Palm, Palm had her gallbladder taken out. It says I have a GERD and a ischial hernia. I don't know what a GERD is, but I know what a hernia is. But it says nice, a gallon is all you really need. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I drink at least a gallon a day, so yeah. Oh, and it says much better now, but the acid reflux flares up occasionally. Acid reflux. Yeah, oh God, yeah, I hate that. I get that sometimes. Like if I got a sour tummy one night, I'll think it's just a little burp or something, and then I'll be like, and it's like my trachea is melting. So I'd rush to the bathroom, drink some water, usually pop a couple of Tums to try to neutralize the acid. And yeah. I learned about that from an 80s cartoon I watched when I was a kid. Yeah, one called The Inhumanoids. And they were being attacked by acid, and one of them was like a chemical expert. So he says, neutralize the acid with a base. So I know that a base, like, Tums or what have you, will neutralize acid. So that's basically what it does. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we have the second roast beef that we picked up the other day. So first things first, we're going to chop that up. Chop it up into strips, nice beef strips, and then I might just chop up a fresh onion as well. And I still have a bunch of mushrooms left over from the pizza yesterday because we didn't use anywhere near all of them. And then we have 2 packages of stir-fry vegetables. The stir-fry medley. Yeah, stir-fry medley from Green Giant. It's got, look at that. It's got carrots, onions, broccoli, mushrooms, and red peppers. That's pretty good. Yes, we do have some broccoli in the fridge as well. I just wonder if we should throw that in. I might. No, I think I'll save it. We'll do it as we'll have steamed broccoli or something for a side or something else. But we'll do these ones anyway. So I tend to get saltine crackers or oyster crackers as they help absorb. Plus, you're putting small amounts of food in. That's true. Yeah. I also just plain bread is good for that too. My dad's going through some massive pain in his chest and he won't just calm down. He keeps moaning and it's not helping. Oh dear. Sorry to hear that, dude. Okay, well, let's bring you all over here. Get a little closer with Big Red. And we'll try to give you a better view of the action here as we cut up the meat. There, how's that gonna look? Good, you can pretty much see everything there. Let's just angle you down just a smidge more. As much as the composition was lovely, we're kind of missing some stuff there, so just gonna slightly that way, I think. Yeah, that works. Yeah. Oakley dokley. So actually, I guess I could cut up the onion first. That would probably be easier. All right, let me just give the knife a rinse here. Just used it to cut a slice of cheese earlier. There we go. think we'll try sharpening it as well. So, you know, I guess that'll do. Rinse off all the metal shavings, as delicious as they are. Okay, so let's do. Yeah. Outer skin looks a little janky. I think we're going to take that off too. Alright, let's check all this here. And I'll just put these in with the mushrooms, basically. We're just going to put everything in together, essentially. Actually, I won't put them with the mushrooms. I'll put them with, actually, no, fuck. I'll put it in with the mushrooms. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So I just break them up. If anything, this will just let some of the onion flavor soak into the mushrooms a bit before we start. That's good. And greetings to anyone who just walked in. I just noticed our viewership went up a little. Hello, welcome. Making some food. We're going to cut this roast beef up here to make strips. And then we're going to cook them up in some teriyaki sauce. And we got lots of veggies we're going to be throwing in there. Some fresh, some frozen. Mostly frozen, but just some fresh. This is the fresh stuff kind of being thrown in to supplement it a bit. So, okay, it's now 4 a.m. Oh, did it just change? It's 4 a.m. again. Deja vu. Yeah, I'm not sure when it changes for us. It just clicked over to midnight for me. Are you normally 4 hours ahead of me? I don't remember. I don't remember. Yeah, we'll check that part. Little knob there. Alright, so we got our nice little pile of onions and mushrooms there. I'm just going to set this aside. Now the fun part. Because it's a roast, it has the strings on it, right? So always rinse out the meat wrappers so I don't take my garbage out every day. So keep it from stinking. You see, you don't want it to get stinky. Good morning, Funk. Usually 3, I think. Okay, well, so your guess is as good as mine then. Yeah, I mean, we can do fairly sizable chunks like that. Maybe we'll. So maybe what I'll do here is actually bring the pan over, and we'll toss them in the pan as we go. How's that sound? There we go. Okay, I could have made that a little thicker. Yeah, it is noticeably cutting better since I did that little half-assed sharpening there. A little thicker, I think. There. Yes, you want decent sized chunks, a little bit of fat on there. I like good stuff, They don't have to be perfect strips either, just, chunks. See, I mean, this is a cheap way to get steaks too, is you just get a roast beef and cut them up yourself. Cut them as thick or as thin as you want. I'm almost tempted just to fry one of these up as a steak. Looks so good. Alright. My cats had raw today. They would love that. Oh, raw meat? Yeah. Oh yeah, little carnivores. They would love it, alright. Okay, so I think in this case we're just going to go right down the line here. Actually, no, yeah, let's do it this way. You guys see the pan okay? I'm pretty sure you can see that. How do you like your steak, Pam? I'm kind of a medium to medium rare guy myself. Yeah, this one. See, this is the tenderloin end here, right? And there's a strip of fat, and this is the main meat here. So what I'm going to do is cut it this way. Get a little bit of, just a little piece of that fat in each strip. Hate to say it, but I like it well done. Damn. So sorry to hear that. Now I do when I do hamburgers, I do them well done. I just incinerate them because it's hamburgers. More places for bacteria to hide in ground beef, you know. A big solid block of meat like this, I find if it's too overdone, it tends to lose some flavor and texture, certainly. But yeah. All right, let's cut this. You want to cut it? Maybe we'll do three. Yeah, we'll do three. We'll do this. Do this. We're into the big end of the roast here. I don't want to know it was a cow. Your guilty conscience just can't handle it. Which way are we going here? This way maybe? No, this way. Yeah. Well, this had its own ideas. Do that. Most cooks, chefs hate to cook a steak well done. Well, yes, and most of us steak fans hate to eat them well done. It's like you just want me to cook all the flavor out of it, just give you a lump of charcoal. All right, here you go. Enjoy. I took no pleasure in preparing that for you. Very unrewarding cooking experience. Yeah, see, like, look at this. These are all tenderloin. Now look, I don't know how well you can see this, but I cut it across the grain. So now you have all these bites like along the lines where the muscle separates. So that will be super tender. Ideally, you always want to cut across the grain because when you're doing strips like this, because it makes it much more tender. Just melt in your mouth. If cooked right, the good flavor, yeah, the good flavor insides as well. Yeah, I mean, I've done when I do them in the pan, they often end up well done. I find as long as I get that nice sear on the outside, then live with it. Damn, it's hard to cut the tenderloin. It's so tender that it just kind of slides around under the knife, you know. This way. Ugh, we have more tenderloin here. Feels very tender. It's when you have to send it back that you're fucked. Oh yeah, then they're definitely gonna spit in it. You don't do steaks. And another layer of the uniqueness of Duncan's diet reveals itself. What about hamburgers? Do you hamburgers? You do mint, so you do like a meat pie. I think we talked about that before. I love meat pies. Or like maybe kind of like pulled pork but beef. All right. Well, I guess if I ever have you over for dinner, I'll be sure to cook your steak until it's a lump of charcoal. I'll already be half finished my steak by the time you even get yours. You're gonna lay down and attempt to sleep. Aw, okay. Hope you get some rest tonight, Pam. Thanks for coming out. There we go. Excellent. Okay, just about ready. Still a little bit more prep to do. Let's see, we got our mushrooms. We got our mushrooms and onions ready. We got our beef ready. What's left? Well, next we got to get the rice going. So we got to do a big old rinse on the rice. I'm just gonna wash this pan for or this cutting board first. Burp. Okie dokie. So, first things first, we need rice. And a cup with which to measure it. see how much we've got here. Actually, this was a huge bag, but it's almost gone now. You too lost that hour of daylight savings time. Poof. My mental dictionary is playing up this morning. I tend to avoid beef burgers because I can't tell when they are done. Oh, okay. I overdo them way too much. I let others who are not colorblind cook my burgers. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Well, I mean that's the thing. That's what I was talking about, like hamburgers, beef burgers, that they call hamburgers for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, with those, I always do them well done anyway. God damn. Okay. Let me just. There. This is like half the rice I wanted to make. Hold on a second. I have another rice. Yeah, I have this one, the whole grain brown. I think we'll go with that maybe. Do I have any more white? I do not. Wow, I'm actually almost out of rice. That's insane. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just make a half batch. That's fine. If I need to make more rice to go with the rest of the stir fry, so be it. But I have a feeling we'll just eat it all. And that's okay. Alright, so what we do here is we gotta give it a rinse. Bring our pot over. I mean, this will still make a fair amount of rice, but so 2 cups of rice in the strainer. Just rinse it under cold water. Just swish it around in the strainer to kind of get all the starchiness off. Should be pretty good. Generally, you just want to keep doing it until the water runs clear. I think that's pretty clear. And rice, of course, is a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 cups of rice equals 4 cups of water. Rice, one of the easiest things in the world to make. So, I mean, ideally, you don't want to eat just the rice. There's not a lot of nutritional value in it on its own. It's all about what you add to it. And if I just make fried rice, I'll basically just make the rice and I'll season it a bit with some soy sauce. And I'll add in, I'll do this kind of thing, but with like chicken or pork. And then that'll be that. Let's get you guys over here to where the action's gonna be. Look at that. Just a big pile of beef. Excellent. Alright, angle you guys over a bit. And down a bit. See where we're at. Oh, that's not right at all. Hold on. How about that? Yeah, that's not bad. We'll go with that. So we basically just put it on medium. I guess if we angle you up ever so slightly, you can see the dials too. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Good enough. I have all these people dancing on my stove. And then I'll just put in a little extra virgin olive oil. It helps a little bit. I'm almost out. I need to get some more of that. But, yeah. And then when I make rice, yeah, see, it's actually quite clear. So we did a pretty good rinse on that. Excellent. I use a whisk. So let's get the beef going here. So for the beef, we are using some Golden Dragon teriyaki sauce. This stuff's really tasty. And I think we'll just put some pepper in there too. Give it a little extra zing, you know? Fresh ground pepper. I've become a big fan of fresh ground pepper. There we go. Whoops. Yeah, smell that. Mmm, good. So this is the thicker stuff, as you can see. I want a fair amount in there. I usually end up using almost the whole thing when I make one of these. I do like a lot of sauce. There we go. Cover that up. And we want to partly cover this. The handle broke off, so I have a twist tie. I should probably replace. It's kind of disintegrating, but it gets the job done. It lets me lift the lid off when I need to. So what's happening over here? The pumpkin dancer looks like he's in my pan. Yes. Uncle Ben's. Yeah. Duncan says we actually do have a place where you can get real hamburgers over here. It's called Wimpy. Oh yeah, yeah, Wimpy. We have some Wimpys here in Canada too. Wimpy burgers. Yeah. They actually do make hamburgers from pork. Oh, interesting. Unfortunately, there are a much smaller restaurant chain these days. Most people think they have vanished in their distant memory from the 80s. I'm surprised when they say I went to Wimpy. Yeah. Is it common for power companies to build internet infrastructure in communities? I would say so. Like most of the utility companies kind of work in tandem like that. But yeah, certain things, if they need to run cables or so forth, the power company can be just better equipped to do that than the cable companies. So very often they'll kind of contract it out to them to do at least some of the heavy wiring. And then just gonna mix all this up here, nice and mixed together. Oh yeah, it's already starting to cook. Well, that's good because we really want to get the meat saturated with this teriyaki sauce. That's good. Oh yeah, that's good. That's an entire roast beef. So if you ever wonder why you get pre-cut, beef strips or whatever for stir fries, or stewing beef. Why it's so expensive? It's because, well, I mean, there's added labor to cut it all up, obviously. But I mean, typically you're getting like half a roast when you get one of those packages. You know, so I mean, it's a lot of meat. Waifu is shaking them on the burner. Aggressive beef burgers. I prefer Burger King over McDonald's. Five Guys over everyone. Yeah, Burger King is pretty good. Bacon double cheeseburger XL. Now you're fucking talking. Yeah, when I go to McDonald's, I usually get the quarter pounder because I like to have a bigger burger. And they have like a double quarter pounder BLT now, which is just perfect. So I'll get that, and it's the same at all the fast food places. If they have like a double burger, that's what I'll usually get because I'm a big hungry guy. What can I say? You know. I used to have two quarter pounders, then I looked at the nutrition panel. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't want to compromise when I'm giving myself a treat. I just want to enjoy it, you know. I mean, as long as you're not eating it every day, it's fine. Just a once in a while treat, you know. Just make sure you go during the time of day when they're actually serving burgers, as I did not the other day. Went to McDonald's for the first time in forever, and craving a quarter pounder, and it was breakfast time, and it wasn't even close to lunchtime. It was like not even 10 a.m. So like it was like 9:30 or 9:45, something like that. So like, yeah, I'm not waiting an hour for them to start making burgers. I'll just have a McMuffin. That was when I had my sausage McMuffin, not realizing it wouldn't have egg in it. So I was like, well, it's like a small hamburger, kind of. Glad I got two of them. One quarter pounder and three chicken selects with smoky barbecue sauce. Chicken? What are chicken selects? Is that like chicken fingers or something? Or is it a sandwich? Is it a type of sandwich? I don't know that one. Actually, I see they have what is it? They have Big Macs now with like crispy chicken or something. I forget what it was. There's one that has everything. It has like a burger patty, a filet of fish patty, and a crispy chicken patty. There we go. It's starting to bubble. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Yeah, and containing everything in there should help it retain the moisture as well. So, there we go. We might just snack on a couple pieces of that while we're doing stuff. Hey, Great Red Shark. Rarely have a meal. Don't really do fries. So you just get like sandwiches, like burgers or whatever. Yeah. See, I usually do a meal, but I don't like just the burger and a side. Like I'll get a burger and fries, or a burger and onion rings, or something, or a burger, fries, and onion rings. But I rarely get drinks at the places. I usually just get the burger and fries, and that's it. That's okay. No complaints from me. Okay, I don't know what a chicken goujon is. Can you just use English words? Is it a sandwich? Is it chicken strips? Is it deep fried chicken liver? Like, just what is it? What is it? Made from proper chicken, not the McNuggin. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So that's like their crispy chicken or whatever. It's like a proper chunk of chicken. It's like the chicken strips that I get. It's a proper chunk of chicken, not the formed chicken paste. Yeah, definitely makes a big difference. That's absolutely what I prefer as well. Is the ones with the big chunks. Just a hunk of chicken meat, breaded, deep fried, delicious. A strip of chicken covered. Okay, so it's like chicken strips. Got it. Excellent. that a little stir there. I mean, I guess technically speaking, we could fire up the other frying pan and do the vegetables at the same time, but I usually like to do the meat first, and then we just kind of take our time with the vegetables. You don't generally want to cook the meat and the vegetables all together. I guess you could, but I prefer not to. Just the way I roll. See, it gets going pretty quick. This will likely not take that long. Oh yeah, it's already starting. Oh, the smell is so good. It smells so good. Love this teriyaki. There we go. See, it's starting to brown. You want to kind of keep an eye on it because you don't want to overdo it. You want it to be nice and tender and juicy. More like a batter. They get fried a bit. It's very KFC-like. Okay, cool. Well, that sounds yummy. Yeah, the chicken strips I like to get are the ones that are like that. There's one of the local supermarket brands here has that, and they're just kind of they're seasoned a little bit spicy, but not unpleasantly so. It's just really nice flavor, and just big chunks of chicken. No two pieces look the same, other than vaguely chicken strip shaped. But yeah, and then they're battered, and you just do them in the oven basically. But actually, when I had my deep fryer all up and running, I would do things like that. Any kind of battered frozen food, I would actually throw into the deep fryer, and that's how I would cook it. I would cook it that way instead. So good! Oh my god! Yeah, it's really good. But the frozen stuff that you throw in the oven actually has like oil already kind of in the batter, specifically so that when you cook it up, it'll fry a little bit in the pan and get nice and crispy. So of course, putting that into the deep fryer, sometimes it got a little. Well, actually, they turned out fine. I did like chicken strips and onion rings in there, like frozen ones, and they turned out really good. Especially the onion rings; they were so good. Um, but the mess it leaves behind in your deep fryer is like so much more than if you had, just cut up some potatoes yourself or something. um, because they have the grease kind of already on them to get them crispy in the oven. You see. So UK McDonald's just had a special burger, a chicken Big Mac. Yeah, I think they have that here too. Yeah, I remember my first McDonald's. We always used to go to Wimpy. I had a Big Mac. I felt like a big boy. Oh, because it had big in the title, of course. Yeah. I also made a right mess of it as I was unaware. I was pushing the bottom of the bun into my mouth faster than the top, resulting in very messy finger food. I used my knowledge of Canada, partly gained by being here, to ace a silly online quiz for rewards points today. Excellent. Glad I could help indirectly. Look how fast this is cooking. It's only on medium, but when you put the cover on it like that, it actually does help it to cook a little faster. I mean, we're almost. There's some pieces here that are pretty much done. Excellent. Excellent. There we go. So when we get the meat all done, we're gonna put it in the. I have my little crystal bowl, so we're gonna put it in there, and just set it aside. Give the pan a quick wash, and we'll do all the vegetables. Then, once the vegetables are good to go, we just throw everything in together and scoop it onto some rice. No cheese. Oh no. What is it? Were you not here when I was doing? It's beef. Strips of beef. I cut up my the other roast beef that I bought the other day. You might recall I mentioned I was going to do that. Well, I did it. I did it. I finally did it. Yeah, so it's just the one of the roasts. I cut it up into strips, and then I'm frying it up with some teriyaki sauce, Golden Dragon teriyaki. So this is the thick stuff. I'll show you. See, it's like thicker. It's not watery like some of the ones you get. So it's really made for stuff like this. Also, I find it just has a nice sweet flavor to it that I really like. Yeah, this is almost done. So then we're going to do our veggies. And hopefully by the time the veggies are done, the rice will be done. It'll be all set. You always use loads of pepper. Hang on, I've also left over tuna mayo. That would be like under an egg on top of the crumpet. Ooh, that sounds like you may be onto something there. I vote you give that a try. Get a little bit of tuna mayo, meaning mayo that you use for tuna, or mayo with tuna flavor, or mayo or tuna that you have prepared with mayo. You can have an egg and tuna breakfast sandwich. There you go. Yeah, I find prepared tuna can be added to a number of things. Sometimes what I would do is I would do a grilled tuna, basically same thing as a grilled cheese, but instead of putting cheese in the bread, you put tuna, just regular mayo and tuna, and that was really good. That was really good. Very tasty. Very tasty. Alright, this is almost done. Looks like most of the pieces are done. Try to get the ones that still have some pink there into the hot area. Tuna plus mayo plus red onion plus pepper, then mix. Yes, that sounds wonderful. That's something I should start adding actually is red onion. I like the sound of that. For me, it's usually just mayo and fresh ground pepper. But I have had it with onion before, and it's quite good. There's a little extra crunch. Says you can do a grilled tuna mayo baguette for lunch, but I lack a baguette. Oh. Well, poop. Oh, bottom. You know, I'm satisfied that this is done. Let's take it off the heat, and we will put it in our crystal bowl. Kingdom of the Crystal Bowl. Yep, I went there. I'll put some of the juice in here too. It's a combination of teriyaki and moisture and fat. Ow, 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 hot. Yep. Sounds like the rice is coming along nicely. There we go. It's a nice little bowl of beef. I'm just gonna pour some of that. We'll drain it off when we put it in the veggies. Don't have to do a full wash on that. Let's have a piece of the beef, shall we? Oh my god, that's perfect. Holy shit, that's good. Mmm. Mmm. Cutting across the grain, man, I'm telling you. It just melts in your mouth. I think our rice might actually be done. Yeah, looks like the rice is done. Take that off. I'm just going to put it on a hot plate thing on the counter here. And we'll do our second rinse in a moment. So put this back up. Actually, going to put this a little higher for this. And we want, yeah, if I could just throw everything in there. There we go. We're going to let those fry for a little bit first. Let's give them some olive oil here. And some pepper. That is far from everything we're putting in there. We're just going to get the fresh stuff going a little earlier. There. Yeah, it's really just to supplement the frozen stuff. Now, meanwhile, while that's going, let's move you guys over here. I'm assuming you can kind of see what's going on here. I licked my fingers after picking up that onion. Grain of fresh ground pepper right in the back of my throat. So here's what we want to do. Basically just want to do a rinse. Just another rinse, basically. Basically. I guess we could do hot water. That's fine. It won't be so cold. Usually I'll do a cold water rinse, but whatever. Dumping it in there, and then get some more. that. None of it actually stuck to the pan. That's awesome. The pot, rather. So I just got to give the onions a little stir here. There we go. Alright, let's turn you guys back around. Wow. Now we just want all our focus on the veggies. Excellent. Okay. So that's coming along nicely. It's smelling good. I think we got a sufficient head start. Green Giant. Cut these. There we go. So a little mix of fresh and frozen. Just treat myself to another piece of beef there for. It's actually pink in the middle. Perfect. Treat myself for being such a good boy. So we basically want to do the same thing here. Just season the shit out of it. I used to get the really big bags of stir fry, like frozen veggies and stuff, and I just make huge batches of them. But I didn't have any when I was there. I just got two of the smaller ones, which is essentially the equivalent of how much I would use otherwise. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna end up using this whole bottle just for this one stir fry, because that's just the way I roll. Oh, that smells good. Good old teriyaki. Look at that. So we got a nice mix of fresh and frozen vegetables in there. Lots of onions. Oh yeah. It's gonna be good eating. Good eating. Mmm. Cut across the grain. So good. I guess you can see me sneaking pieces, can't you? I mean, it's honestly way more beef than we need for this amount of vegetables anyway, so I'm just doing my part to even things out a bit, you know. No, it's teriyaki sauce, which has soy sauce in it. Right? Soy sauce and molasses or something. So it's kind of like soy sauce, but it's like super sweet. It's really good. You must have had teriyaki before. I do have soy sauce as well, but I don't use it for this particular thing. What I do use soy sauce for is when I make fried rice. That's different. Then it gives it just the right flavor. And then it goes really nicely with, I like plum sauce or sweet and sour sauce with it. It's very good. Let's remove this. Yeah. It's very yummy. So I don't know if you were here before, but I cut up the roast beef, the second roast beef I have. This is an entire roast beef in here, into strips. Cooked it all up with the teriyaki sauce and a little bit of olive oil. And now I'm essentially doing the same with the veggies. And we'll be all good to go. You saw nothing. That's why I just sit down with this and eat it like popcorn. It's so fucking good. Maybe I should take my second gummies now. Actually feel something this time. Yeah, I haven't really had anything to eat today, so yeah. I should have my vitamins too. I haven't had my vitamins today. I'll do what I did yesterday. Mix my vitamins with my gummies. I mean, it's all medication of some kind, right? Let's do that. What is today? Saturday? It's Saturday. There we go. Vitamins. Yeah, a few different colors in there. Bottoms up. And like magic, they've all vanished. Just to aid the processing of the vitamins. Well, it is Sunday, but I haven't taken my Saturday vitamins. It's still Saturday for me. When I get up later, I'll take the Sunday vitamins. See, when I get up in like Sunday afternoon, which I like to be when I wake up. Oh, we're already going here. Look at that. That didn't take long. Excellent. Big frozen mushroom right there, next to real mushroom right beside it. Yeah. Is it live or is it Memorex? Is it frozen or is it fresh? I kind of expected there to be more peppers in this. I'm a little disappointed with this medley. You know, what they say, you want something done right, you should just do it yourself. Wasn't in the budget to get fresh, though, unfortunately, so... Digging deeper through footage of the Ukrainians kicking Russian ass. Ended it on a video of a Ukrainian girl singing Let It Go in a bunker. Nice. Wanted to record it for reel-to-reel tape and ram it up Putin the tyrant's ass. Wow. Is it live or is it Memorex? Nope, it's Maxell. I probably bought more Maxell tapes than anything else, actually, especially audio tapes. Quite a lot of VHS tapes too. I was not expecting so much moisture to emerge from this, but there's basically the only liquid I added was the teriyaki sauce. And I think, did I put, I put a little splash of olive oil in for the onions, but that was it. I was expecting a little more like greens, maybe. See, if I was to do my own stir fry, I basically just do it all fucking peppers. I do peppers, like 4 different kinds of bell peppers, or capsicum. Onions, of course, mushrooms, fresh broccoli, and that'd probably be it, actually. I probably wouldn't put carrots in it. Well, maybe I would, I don't know. No noodles? No, because we have rice. Well, you just missed everything, didn't you? I literally just made a pile of rice specifically for this. So it's stir fry on a bit of rice. That's the idea, you see. It just keeps taunting me. No, that's one of the tenderloin pieces. So good. The tenderloin cut across the grain, you can just imagine. Because we mixed in all that teriyaki flavor right away, it's all soaked right into the meat. It's really good. I actually would really like to do this with like udon noodles or something like that. I think that'd be really good. It seems to be more boiling than frying, but whatever. It's all good. Should be just about done, actually. I don't have much left to do. Pretty much everything is done. Yeah, I think next time when funds allow, I'll just make my own stuff. Or actually, you can get like specific medleys. Like you can get one that's it's just all peppers. It's just all chopped up peppers. So I might do something like that. I don't know. We shall see. Nope, it's Maxell. Motherfucker. Go. One more for the road. There's definitely more meat than veggies. I'll just eat that little piece there. Not that, no. No, I haven't. all the veggies go? They all just got buried under the meat. There you can't even see. Okay, there we go. They're starting to climb their way through the mound of dead flesh. There we go. Well, I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of steam coming off of this. I think we're done. I think so that's why I wasn't too worried about snacking. I guess I knew we had a stupid amount of stuff. All right. Just grabbing a couple scoops of rice here. Okay. And put a pile of this on top. Look at that. And maybe a little more. Well, I want that specific piece right there. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. And there we go. Now there is rice under there. You can see it just barely. But alrighty, let's go eat, folks. My thoughts exactly, Funk. Funk says you can never have too much meat. I concur. Just a fork and a spoon. Alright, let's bring you guys back over to the command center here. Well, that all went pretty well. I'm just going to grab the... not a lot of teriyaki left. I probably should just use the rest of it, but whatever. Put that in there. Yeah. Okay. There's a piece of that banana I had earlier. It's not a ginormous booger, don't worry. There we go. Ta-da! I guess we can angle this a little more over now. Ta-da! There we go. First, so we get maximum impact, we'll have our gummies and put a pile of food on top of them. That's how you do it. Take these two, that's good. So, today's trip is brought to you by the letter M and the letter A. Delish. Correct, gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. Just bouncing all over the place. Bunch of bouncing weirdos. That's quite alright and completely understandable. Well, let's just grab a random forkful here and see what we get. We got rice. Let's grab another forkful. Get some meat on there. Meat, mushrooms. Mmm. Oh yeah. We get something. There we go. Onions, mushrooms. Mmm. I keep forgetting that the raccoons made it to your shores. That's one of my country's shows. Can't good old Canada. Then again, I guess we did get Dr. Snuggles. Whoa, Jesus. My fan needs to be oiled again. Uh-oh. That's not good. I think my fan just died. Can all of my equipment and everything in my life just stop dying? Thanks. Hmm. The Little Vampire. I think I saw some of that. Yeah, it was a live action show, as I recall. Yeah. Fan donation fund. I'm not even sure how many years I've had that particular pan, but it's been a while anyway. Mmm. Mm-hmm. This turned out really good. Both series Little Vampire from Amazon Germany. Luckily both series have the English soundtrack dubbed for the second series. Ah, gotcha. Hmm. So, was it produced natively in German language? Or maybe only the second series, because it didn't have, it was only produced in Germany, I guess. That's kind of interesting. This is the first food I've actually had all day. Other than this, little snacking. So I guess I should say this is the first proper meal I've had all day. I did have a banana and a piece of cheese earlier. Oh, okay. So it was like, yeah, it wasn't like a, part two of the same story. It was more of a reboot. Hmm. Interesting. Hmm. Nice. So you get raccoons, little vampire, and more raccoons. Yeah, it's definitely one I'd like to see more of. I don't remember anything about it. I'm sure I saw some of it at some point, but being something of a vampire aficionado, I'd love to see it. Oh, David the Gnome. Mm-hmm. I remember that. And that was loosely based on the book by Brian Froud, the one about gnomes, or inspired, or something. At least I always assumed it was because they looked very similar in design. I have the original primetime special of Gnomes, which was based on the book, on VHS. I don't know if it's ever been released outside of that. I'm sure it must have been by now. Hmm. This is so good. Duckula. You might have a little trouble with Duckula. The set's been out of print for a while. Unless there's some kind of re-release I don't know of. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Full force. The partly redubbed G.I. Joe. So strange. There was a DVD release here of, yeah, it was a DVD release of Arise, Serpentor, Arise, which of course is a 5-part miniseries about the origin of Serpentor. But for some reason, even though the opening and closing titles were correct, the audio track used for it was from an Action Force episode. It was from the Action Force version of the episode. So it's just so out of place. You're hearing like, some. You're hearing them say things that they never say, as if they say them all the time. And it's just like, it's so random. It's like part 3 or 4, like just right in the middle, just randomly, and then it's back to the original GI Joe audio. Your first VHS tape you bought yourself. Very nice. No, it's good stuff. I used to watch GI Joe all the time. It always came on right after Transformers. So. And I remember seeing part of the first miniseries at a friend's place. And that was the first time I'd ever heard of G.I. Joe. He's like, oh, you gotta watch this. It's so awesome. I said, okay. Mm-hmm. Parallel Universe. I know exactly the one you're talking about. It was a 2-part story, right? Like a 45-minute one. That's a good one. Worlds Without End, I think it's called. Something like that. I think that's actually the finale for season 1. Because one of the main characters leaves at the end of that story, decides to stay in the alternate universe. So that's where that season ends. Hell of a finale. I remember that being a really well written episode with some unexpected emotion to it. He got bitten, but yeah, he got bitten by a strange bug, and he's got sick. But that character meets with the Baroness, and apparently in this universe, the Baroness is on the side of the Joes, and she had that universe's version of him as her lover, but he died. So they decided to stay together at the end. It's quite like an emotional story for like a kid's, action adventure show. It was really good. I liked it when they would kind of break from the norm and do something interesting like that. You didn't know what was going on. It's like, this is cool. I don't know who any of these people are. What's happening? Well, yeah. Well, I guess as your introduction to G.I. Joe, you definitely got a good story there. That's a good one. Although not the typical story by any means, but a very good one. Yeah. So I mean, the first I saw was that one episode of the original miniseries that I saw at my friend's place, and then the following year they put out the Revenge of Cobra, which was a second GI Joe miniseries, another 5-part miniseries shown Monday through Friday, one week. And I watched the shit out of that. I actually watched the whole thing when that originally aired. And then I remember and then the following year, they did that was the same year that Transformers had its first season. Then the following year, GI Joe got its first full season, bringing the total number of episodes up to 65. So I guess they had 10, so they did 55 new episodes to hit the magic syndication number. And then Transformers went daily the same year with another was it 39 episodes, I think, because they had a longer first season. But and then I remember when the regular series of GI Joe premiered, it had another 5-part miniseries called Pyramids of Darkness, and then Pyramids of Darkness premiered as a primetime movie, which I thought was just mind blowing. It's kind of like, whoa, they're showing GI Joe like when the grown up shows are on. So that just like further legitimized it for me as this mature show, you know. So yeah, it was great. 55. Yeah, well, see, the thing is, in the 80s, a lot of shows went straight into daily syndication. Like, they would just be, a lot of them were, like, based on toys and such, so I guess they just wanted to have as much exposure within a short period of time as possible. So, you get way more exposure if you do 65 episodes to be shown 5 days a week over a 13-week period than if you do, say, 13 episodes shown once a week over that 13-week period. So it's just way more exposure. It's like 5 times the exposure for a show with 65 episodes. So it wasn't uncommon. Like, most of the shows that came out during that era, like the early to mid 80s, would just come right out of the gate with a 65 episode first season and just get sold straight into syndication. There were still some that would just get 13 if they weren't considered as maybe as potentially hot a property. So they just kind of test the waters with a 13 episode season, and then if it does well and gets a second year of the toys, they would expand it to 65 the following season. It was not uncommon. So, yeah. But that's why he has so many toy adverts. Well, yeah, exactly, because I was taping the Transformers at the time, and it was during season 3, so it was like 1986. Transformers had already been around for 3 years, so I just recorded stuff. Actually, it might have been 1987 by the time I started recording them regularly. I know I did record a bunch during the first season when it started, but I cut the commercials out, so it doesn't help us. I still want to I still captured those recordings, though. I think I have them somewhere on my VHS archive disc. But yeah, I mean that was actually quite common. So that's why a lot of the great '80s shows that I love. Jason the Wheeled Warriors, one season, 65 episodes. Adventures of the Galaxy Rangers, one season, 65 episodes. And yeah, and the Transformers and GI Joe, once they went daily, brought it up to 65 each, and then yeah, and just kind of like that. So I mean, if you chose one of them to record, and you're going to leave the commercials in, then you're going to get a lot of toy commercials. So that's what I ultimately ended up doing, was just recording everything with the commercials with the intent to hook up a second VCR and cut them out precisely later, knowing that I'd be losing a generation, but okay with that because it was only one generation. So but that said, I didn't really get around to doing that much, so I still have all my original off-air recordings with the original commercial breaks uncut. So as I've been capturing things, obviously I've been going through them and grabbing whatever I can. I remember, Jace, it was shown 10 or so years ago along with Ulysses 31. That's a good pairing, actually. So I got a good watch again of both. Nice. I've never seen Ulysses 31. I don't think that... I know the one you're talking about, though. It's like literally a sci-fi version of the story of Ulysses. But that's actually a pretty good pairing of those two. They have some similar kind of elements to them. But yeah, Ulysses 31 is one I've definitely been wanting to see for a while. I need to sit down and watch the rest of Jace. I think there's still a bunch of episodes towards the end that I actually haven't seen yet. I know I think there's a few Galaxy Rangers episodes I haven't seen too. I've seen most of them, but yeah, I used to do tape trading with other collectors back in the day before TV shows on DVD and stuff, and I remember a lot of people commenting on how high the quality was, because I did offer tapes of the Galaxy Rangers and Jason the Wheeled Warriors episodes because I had a lot of the 5 episode VHS tapes that were released back in the 80s. So they're all SP mode, hi-fi sound, so they're very nice quality for VHS, so I used those as the source. I found an episode guide and put all the episodes that I had into the correct order, and then transferred them to my digital 8 camcorder. And then I would put together my own tape compilations of them. I didn't have the complete series of either. I had about half of them. I had about like 30 something episodes. But most of the key ones, so I mean it was, it was fine. But both of those shows almost got complete releases on VHS. Did you know that? Yeah. They both had about 54 episodes released of their respective 65 across like 15 volumes of videos. Some had 5 episodes, some had 1 or 2, but yeah, it was pretty interesting. But I always wondered why they stopped. Like, they could have done like 2 more volumes and had the whole series out, 2 or 3 more volumes. Now, the episodes were in completely random order across all those tapes, but hey, at least you'd have them all, I got my first VHS recorder in the early 90s, a hand-me-down JVC deck which I found recently on eBay, but won't buy, even though I'd love to have that model again. Unfortunately, I cleared out most of my tapes. I kept my Stargate and Matrix tapes, as well as my tapes containing the one show I knew I wanted to preserve, which I really need to get on and digitize. Yes, you should. We should all be preserving our treasures, our long-lost treasures. But, what was I going to say? Yeah, so I would often get compliments on my quality, and it's because I'd be going from those old store-bought tapes to digital 8, and thus time-based correcting it in the process, and then making their tapes from the digital 8 tape. So I basically just made a bunch of digital 8 tapes with everything compiled, and just had them ready to go, because they were in pretty high demand. People really liked them, so so I just kept those on hand to provide. And I had one guy just say flat out, "It's like, how do you get the quality so good?" Like, all right, I know what I'm doing, you know. So, yeah, and then if they didn't have anything to trade, they just give me money, basically. Um, Pay for materials and time, essentially. Materials, time, and postage. So, otherwise, we'd, work out a trade. I'd send them some stuff, they'd send me some stuff, and got some nice fills for some of my collections like that. The second series of Erie, Indiana, I got all the episodes I was missing from another collector, and he even he digitized them and sent me like maximum bitrate DVDs of them, like DVDRs of them, and it was pretty cool. I think what else was it? I think we both had like talk show tapes. Like, he was really interested in all my recordings of the Arsenio Hall show. I've got about, I don't know, 50 or so episodes of it. And I have a lot of early David Letterman too. Actually, I got to finish capturing those. And then, or did I? I might have finished. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've been working on that. And then he sent me, what was he sent me? Erie, Indiana, and also some episodes of Cadillacs and Dinosaurs that I was missing. So yeah, there was a few. I met a few, fellow collectors and TV show enthusiasts, and we helped each other out and stuff like that. But it was cool. I kind of miss those days sometimes. Oh, and yes, there was a few times I got scammed. That happens. There's always a few bad apples in communities like that. But, I have a load of tapes from a mate of mine. They use VHS a lot so they could avoid watching adverts. I need to scan through those. Yeah, definitely. It could be some gold in there. I did start digitizing that series I recorded. It is a children's BBC series, late 90s. I need to start the capture afresh because now I have a Super VHS deck with time-based correction and 3D noise reduction. Excellent. Just watch it with the noise reduction. That's like early DNR there. So the TBC even manages to remove the head switching noise, but not always. Depends on the tape. Interesting. Yeah. If you, if you have nice clean tracking on it, like there aren't too many dropouts, you should be able to get a really clean capture with the time-based correction there. It was like when I first started using time-based correction, I was like, okay, now I see why everybody talks about this. It's like instantaneous. It's the immediate, revelation. It's just like, yeah, I don't know what funk. Or, did you drop acid or what? What's going on there, dude? Planet it, and you'll grow a new Ralph. Laddie. Hi, Crolatin. How you doing, Crolatin? I wonder if any of those letters are in your real name. Maybe it's an anagram of his real name. Is your real name Needlelork? There's a three-line TBC only corrects the line, not the fields. TBCs that correct between fields are technically illegal to sell here as they remove macrovision. Boy, you guys just get it every which way from Sunday, don't you? All the time-based correctors here remove macrovision. that is one of the many things I use it for intentionally, is to break the macrovision encoding. I have a number of devices designed for everything. Well, because it's copy protection, right? So technically, even though they don't even use it anymore and they don't even make VHS anymore, it's still technically illegal. Technically. See, nowadays it was an analog copy protection system, basically. Pretty clever, really. But like when you get into how it works, but nowadays they can just like flag the signal with HDCP or something, and you won't be able to copy it. But it took about a minute for people to figure out how to get around that. Like I got my splitter that just like, bye HDCP. We're sending this signal all over the place. So, yeah. So the whole purpose of it is, it's just so you can show your, thing on multiple devices. That's it. But in order to do that, you see, HDCP works much like under the same principle as Macrovision, meaning that Macrovision would allow you to connect to one video source, and that's it. So from the VCR to the TV, or from the DVD to the TV. DVD still use Macrovision, actually. DVD to the TV. If you try to put another source in the middle, say a second VCR to record it, and so you have to go into that VCR and then out to the other VCR, it detects that, and what it does is it will periodically drop the signal to really low, so everything gets really dark and hard to see, and it'll slowly fade back up, and then it'll drop it down again, and it'll slowly fade back up, and that's what it is. It's just aggravating to watch. You can still technically watch, but it looks like ass. So so anyway, HDCP works under the same principle. If you try to pass it through to more than one source, it just full on kills the signal. It just says display not supported or something. Yeah. So that was that. Video piracy, exactly. It's like getting video games with the DRM stripped out of them. You know, same kind of idea. But yeah, so basically, to get around Macrovision, you could get a video signal booster, which is a device that would basically keep the video signal stable and at the high level where it should be, no matter what Macrovision tries to do. So it was called a video stabilizer. That's what the video stabilizer. So you do that, and it just like it just holds the signal there, while Macrovision's like trying to fuck things up but can't. So then you take your signal out from that and put that into your second VCR, and that's how you can copy it. But in the case with HDCP, it actually works very similar. Well, yeah, there's that too, but it's also a matter of if you're using like a capture card or something, it needs to be a clean signal if it's going to let you do everything you want to do with it. So, so just stream it. I have this problem. Like the PS3 has really heavy HDCP just on everything. The PS4 not so much. Really, just when you play movies. Most games don't have HDCP at all. But so what I would have to do is take that signal from the device, say the PS3, plug it into this splitter that's designed to, once again, does this sound familiar? Strengthen the signal so that they can send it out to multiple devices. It just so happens one of those multiple devices is my capture card, and the other one is, you know, the TV. Or actually, when I do that, when I go through the splitter, I usually just put it on all the monitors. So wherever we are in the house, if Rosie's wandering around or somebody else is here, they can see without having to be hovering over my shoulder. But it's basically the same idea. Like, it's funny that it just makes me think like the more things change, the more they stay the same. Like, the principle of that whole process is identical for both. Like what you're basically doing, you're putting in a middleman. So once I discovered the time-based corrector on my Digital 8 camcorder, I didn't need the video stabilizer anymore. The time-based corrector was better because it killed Macrovision and time-based corrected it. So it was like a double whammy with just one connection. So that was that. Let's get this one. HDTV is transmitted unencrypted in the UK. Anyone can record it. You need to pay the TV tax, though. Yes. Unencrypted. But to be properly legal and compliant, recorders encrypt the content when recording, locking it to that recorder. Oh, that sounds very similar to Sony with the PS3. Was your hard drive becomes encrypted and locked to the specific PS3 that it was in. Well, what if that PS3 dies? Can't I just take that hard drive out and plug it into another one? Nope. So I lose everything that was on that hard drive. Yep. Unless you can repair that specific PS3 again. Such bullshit. So I have all my old saves on the old PS3. I have the hard drive for it. But fucked if I know how I'm going to get any of those files off, you know. Almost scammy. Well, yeah, it is. So it's like, and the thing I was really kicking myself about was before that PS3 died, I subscribed to PlayStation Plus. I didn't know about the cloud save feature. I didn't know. When I set up the PS3 again, the other PS3, I made sure to enable cloud saves on everything. Yeah. Ridiculous. You just get so used to it. You're just so accustomed to cloud saves just kind of automatically being a thing that happens. You know. Converted all the save file. What? Converted all the save files off the PS3 that day. Took forever. Files. Converted all the save files. Well, that's just it. I couldn't get them off the PS3. I couldn't get them because the PS3 was dead. Okay. These gummies are definitely working. Yeah, that proves it out conclusively as far as I'm concerned. I had 2 gummies earlier when we were playing Fortnite. Barely felt a thing. Empty stomach though. Didn't eat anything. Just had water. So had to just before the big meal here with the stir fry, and like already feeling a nice little buzz happening. And well, I have been for like the past 20 minutes, but so take your gummies on a well, with a meal. That's what I'm saying. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? I wonder how much beef in like equivalent steaks I ate in that stir fry. Must have been at least like a full steak, I'm sure. Need to clean up my old Dyson. Giving it to my cousin later today. It has done the rounds. Used to me by my parents, who gave it to my sister, who then gave it to me. Wow. Those Dysons, man, they are built to last. It'll become this. It's literally been this generational Dyson. It's crazy. Just to make sure that a Dyson is the same thing for you as it is for me. That's the vacuum, right? The really good vacuum. I think you were saying that was the one that could suck up water, and you used that for something recently. I remember you mentioning. Crazy, man. Dinero. We need the dineros. The Dine Rose. I should play Montezuma's Revenge while high. That'd be fun. It has a hole in its hose, but my cousin doesn't have stairs, so don't need the hose. Oh. The one that sucks up water replaces my... Oh, okay, that's the new one. The new one sucks up water. Gotcha. That one is called George and has a smiley face on it. I don't know why that's so amusing. Perhaps that you just described that so matter-of-factly. I don't know. Anyway. It's a Dyson Hoover. Okay, gotcha. Dyson DC-27, about 13 years old, I think, or maybe. My first vacuum was a hand-me-down Kirby. This thing was old. Like, I could tell it was old, but, god damn, it was built like a fucking tank. You know how they're all plastic now, right? This thing was solid metal. Like, it had weight and heft to it. It had a cloth bag that you would have to empty out and then beat to get all the dust out of it. And yeah, that Kirby was something, but it really did the trick. Holy moly, that was a great, really, it really sucked. But, the smiley face is a trademark. Uh, of the company that makes Henry Hoovers. Oh, okay. Interesting. So instead of a Henry, it's a George, is what you're saying. His name is Miles Bennett Dyson. Let's look at the smiley face, everybody. I would love to see it. Let's see the smiley. Oh, okay. Yeah. I've seen these before. Nice. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I've absolutely seen these before. Look at that. What a cute little guy. He's such a hard worker. Where are you? There you are. George, wet and dry vacuum. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I'm sure we have something like that here, if not the same thing. Just in our voltage and not yours. He snorts everything. Don't let him anywhere near your cocaine. So, I'm gonna have to type this to her. Hold on. A couple hours ago, Pam said HB blends. And the first thing that pops into my head is, will it blend? That is the question. Oh my god. We'll see how good her YouTube history is if she gets that one. A cat with two sets of ears? Hold on. Oh yeah, it does. Like here, and the actual ears here. It has it has rear ears. Rear rear ears. Will it blend? Rears. Somebody was tweaking the pitch bend dial there. Rears. PETA are calling. George is a wet and dry version. Many people like Henry's over there as they are great for valeting cars. Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. Over here you find them everywhere. From used in shops and offices to builders sucking up brick dust. What the fuck is that? It looks like a cat with two sets of ears. Well, imagine there was a cat where both ends were the front of the cat. Would they have a process by which they decide which of them will be the butthole that day? Or is one just resigned to be the butthole forever? The people of Toronto need to know. Reverse cat centipede. Makes you wonder how cat dog got around. Oh my god. Well, I think we're all now thinking of cat dog in an entirely different light now. What are they not telling us about cat dog? Well, this is what I'm saying. Would they take turns, or would one just agree to always be the butt? Like, is it a dom sub thing? Like one is, well, you know, I don't know. Reverse cat centipede. Of course, you circle back to that. I feel the cat would barf the shit. Wow. Okay. And, and then the dog would turn around and eat it. And thus the cycle of life continues. Jesus. The circle of life. It only took one meal to get it going. You were good forever. Good Lord. Oh my God, that's a breakthrough. Ends world hunger. I forget what the hell, it was a commercial for something where there was this experiment where, so scientist, right, has a piece of bread, like toast with peanut butter on it. He drops it and it flips over and of course lands peanut butter side down, right? Okay, write down that. Then he brings in a cat, picks the cat up, drops it, cat lands on its feet. Okay. And then it goes through a few more iterations of that, of putting that to the test and seeing that it always lands peanut butter side down. The cat always lands on its feet. 100% of the time for both. This is a guaranteed thing that will always happen. So, puts a harness on the cat and puts a piece of toast and peanut butter on the top of it, picks up the cat, drops it, and they just start spinning. and essentially creating an infinite energy source. I can't remember what the hell it was for. It was like it was a commercial for something, but I can't remember. Oh my God, did you find it? Holy shit, Carlatin, I love you. Hold on, let's find out. Alright, let's see.
As conflict and tragedy strike.
Oh, come on. Just, can you load the fucking
So I've got
page,
my essay
maybe?
written, and I've been working on it for
No,
about a
this
week.
isn't the commercial.
So now I'm going to show you how I use
Carlatin.
Grammarly to edit. Okay, so
I'm pretty
here's my
sure
essay,
it wasn't for
and I'm going to click through
Grammarly.
Grammarly suggestions in the right pane.
Alright. Yes, I think this is it. Oh, right, because they're, like, running out of power. Just for, like, an inch. Oh, okay. I did not. Wow, flying horse energy drink apparently. But yes, that was it. That was the one. Thank you very much, Latin. Infinite energy. Unlimited power. Oh, yes. Absolutely. That is perfection. I'll have to, yeah, I'll have to save that commercial. But I especially like the one where he puts it like half an inch from the table and drops it, and it still goes flip. I don't know how the hell you found that so fast. Yeah, exactly. And still manages to flip. Yep. Found two equal and opposite constants in the universe. Oh, I literally typed into YouTube commercial with cat and peanut butter as you're explaining it. Yes. I slightly misremembered it. For some reason, I was remembering it as it was in a lab. Uh, and it was a short, balding white guy for some reason. I don't know why I thought. I completely misremembered. Like, no, it's like they're in a village with very little power. Everybody's suffering. And he stumbles upon this discovery. Racist. Uh-huh. Yes, my memory whitewashing things. For shame. Oh my god, Curlatin, get out of my head. You did that twice now in like as many minutes. Get out of my brain! Apparently. Ridiculous. I feel like doing something. I don't know what I want to do. See, I feel like doing something, but I don't actually want to do anything, so therein lies the dilemma. Play more games. I could do that. I mean, there's probably some low-end stuff we could play. But, I don't know. I'm fine. I thought of maybe taking another crack at Montezuma's Revenge. We were doing pretty well last time. When was the last one? Was that on a marathon day? Might have been on a marathon day. Play more games. I remember you. You're Mr. Playmore. I bet nobody knows where that's from. I may be going a little too obscure here. I have to be hitting the hay soon regardless. Stomach pains aren't making it easy right now either. And yeah, play more. Mr. Playmore. Yes. I may make it a slightly earlier night today myself. But we shall see. But I mean, we did play. How much did we play earlier? Because this isn't all of today. This is after the gaming. Yeah, we did 4 hours of Fortnite. And then, six and a half hours, right? Something like that. I'm not saying I'm leaving right this second. Just, a little bit. Maybe. We'll see. Unless there's a sudden explosion of donos to knock this goal down a little bit. Just be mesmerized by the boob girl and do the thing that makes that number go up. Alright. I'll be back. No. You snuck a couple more pieces of that delicious beef. Oh, that's true, yeah. It actually is later. Keep forgetting. So it doesn't feel that late to me. Then I realize it's because it isn't. The clock says 3, but it feels like 2. I hate that shit. Fall back is much better. Then we can have longer streams that night. You know? Yeah. Meh. Excuse me. Well, I mean that's fine. I mean I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here. But so we'll probably play some more Fork Knife tomorrow, and we'll do another chill and chat after. Might do some more cooking. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what kind of food we have in the house and if we need to make more. Quick bathroom break. Back. You're back. What? That was a quick bathroom break. Well, I might as well. It's become the Curlatin and Sean show again. Oh yeah, see, I went from 1:59 to 3 in the morning on my clock. I can see in the chat the time markers for the chat. Like, fuck you, daylight savings time. Just fuck you. Well, that's okay. I think we had a good time tonight, and a nice sort of 3-act show. I mean, Act 1, Fortnite. Act 2, cooking. Act 3, gummies are finally kicking in. And why not end on a high note, right? Besides, I may have some new porn to check out. That's totally not why my VPN was still on earlier or anything. I'm just saying, you know, I hear there's new porn out there somewhere, and I'm a lonely, lonely man. We don't stay up this late. Past couple of days haven't had much going on. Yeah. Yeah. So next time it will be you and other viewers, because next time you'll be zonked out. Prawn. That should be the Tron porn parody. It should be called Prawn. Exactly. Well, and it sounds like you're probably kind of wanting to get some sleep. I don't know what your days are like, in terms of when you need to get up. I mean, but whatever. Get your beauty sleep. Bleh. Alrighty. I really gotta move this. Oh yeah, because I have to switch the screens around when I play just so I can have the lights. Anyway, never mind. There it is. Alright. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Until then, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Until then, thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, thanks for watching, everybody. And sayonara. Am I still on? Well, I'm still on the fucking camera mic. Glad I wasn't, like, talking